Well, everybody, bump me off. Will, are you there? Will, are you there? Bump me off. Come on back. Come on back. I see people are coming back on. Let's hope Will can come back on. Here he is. I don't know what happened. I touched something, and I don't know. It must have bumped me off. But people are saying blame the cat. That's kind of funny. So we have that. I have a ticket to the last game from that was played by the Marshall team before they got on the plane, and the plane crashed against East Carolina. So that was pretty cool.
That's heavy.
I have a ticket to a game where Chuck Hughes died on the field. Only NFL player to die while playing. Little historical stuff. Games played after John Kennedy's assassination. A lot of protests by the NFL or of the NFL not to have those games. Of course, the O.J. Simpson chase ticket. He goes ahead and kills Ron Goldman and his ex-wife, and we've got a
Hey, allegedly.
could have
Not
been
wanting
someone
to,
else. Yep,
no.
could have been someone else, but we all know that one. And then this is kind of a little controversial too. The COVID game.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah. So they're saying that there's still feedback coming when I talk out of your speaker, Will. So I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, maybe that's better. So I want to talk to you too about a story that you did. Again, Collect is pretty movie and ticket sensitive. So you combined them both and did a story about movie tickets. And you interviewed one of the guys from PSA to talk about what he's seeing in the way of tickets being submitted to PSA. And I guess the biggest influx that he's seen are movie tickets. Tell us more.
Yeah. I mean, so I think movie tickets are just awesome personally. So, I asked Matt Fuller, who's, I guess, head of authentication for tickets. I just asked him about it, and I was shocked when he said, and hopefully the feedback's better. I'm kind of holding the phone up right now, so hopefully that helps.
Okay.
And he said, he's like, and I was shocked when he said this, that, of anything, football, baseball, whatever, that was the trend right now. It wasn't in quantity the most submissions, but that was like the upswing that he was seeing. I was like, wow, that is shocking. And the thing about the tickets that's really cool, if you look for any movie ticket, you're gonna see 99% of them are Japanese. And the reason for that's kind of twofold. One, the art is beautiful. In the U.S., we have the it just says, it's just text.
That's
yeah,
neat.
yeah. So as opposed to the U.S., where it's like you just have, okay, I'm going to see Star Wars, and it's just words. The art is legitimately beautiful in those Japanese tickets, and there was at least a seriously long history, at least compared to here, of collecting those tickets, which obviously contributes to the reason why there's many more out there. And then, I also spoke to him about kind of the different, you think about tickets for just normal kind of sports stuff, and it's like, okay, you got the debuts, you got the first home run, whatever it is, and the kind of parallels in movie tickets. There's the screener ticket, there's the world premiere, there's the first week, and there's kind of levels to it like that. And one of my favorite tickets that I have is the screener to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Wow.
It has really cool art because it was, a special ticket. And obviously those are rare because it's like that was for the people that produced the movie. There's not that many people there. So yeah, it was really cool learning about that. And it's just like, I'd never really heard that much talk about it. I mean, there's a few Instagram accounts that definitely definitely collect them a ton. But yeah, I was just fascinated, and I love it because I think same way, you know, you get a ticket that reminds you of a moment. The ticket reminds you of your favorite movie or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it's just it's really cool to me. Not to mention
Yeah.
they're cheap.
Yeah, they are cheap. Yeah, they're cheaper than sports tickets and a lot of these bigger tickets that a lot of these guys are collecting. Um, I know Matt said that, at least in the article, that it's kind of like off the charts now, how many movie tickets they're getting. So maybe that's something that's really in its infancy, and maybe people are going to have the opportunity to find a way to invest in something that's kind of still untapped. But I like the fact that you guys are doing stories on movie tickets. I like the fact that you guys are doing stories on World Trade Center tickets. Pretty cool stuff. Um, I'm going to bring this one up to you, Will, and I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Still getting that feedback. It's that when I talk to you, not when you're
I'm
talking. When I talk, I don't know. It's weird. Better now. Maybe when you mute me while I'm talking, it's better. Um, but this has become a big issue. Um, this is the ticket
oh
that Darren bought that was, I guess, originally believed to be a ticket to both the game where the Michael Jordan 86 Flair basketball card was taken, as well as the 1984 star basketball card of Michael Jordan. And story that Darren did on Collect about it, we can talk about it too. There was actually a very significant deep dive that was very well done last night by the Talking Ticket Show, Mike Violi and Sean Doherty. I mean, they really dove into this. They found pictures and images and things to suggest that the ticket that was purchased on eBay, more likely than not, relates to the game associated with the star basketball card, but that there was a different game that associates to the 1986 Flair basketball card. I'm just curious to know, what do you know about this? What do you know about the story? And is there going to be any kind of update to this story that was put on Collect? Because, it's kind of, I think, been uncovered almost convincingly that this ticket only applies to this card and not that.
yeah. I mean, you know, Darren wrote that, and I frankly wasn't deep in the weeds with the research. Uh, you know, I think that I mean we know that it got changed and
Yep.
the label was changed. Uh, I think look when you're diving deep into things like that and you're trying to answer questions that aren't necessarily answered in some kind of encyclopedia of you know of sports ticket moments, you're you might run into an incident like that. I mean, you know, it's I'm not going to speak to Darren's thoughts on it because I haven't spoken to him about it
Yeah.
in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it's like look, there's two sides of that chase as people talk about tickets, right? Like, oh my god, I found this and it was listed and it didn't even say that it was you know it was Mantle's debut or whatever. Like the other side of it is that investigative work is really hard sometimes, especially when you're looking at a piece that could potentially be so incredible. So yeah, I mean, as far as the dating and the photos and everything, I, you know, I
Let Darren
all I
talk
know
to it.
is
Yeah.
that it was kind of that there was had to kind of be relabeled, but yeah, I mean, and I think it's kind of it's a worthwhile discussion, and it is representative of this hobby, really, right? That
Yeah.
investigative
Yeah.
both sides of it.
And you know what? It's funny. I talked to somebody at PSA today because, I sent in a ticket to be slabbed and, they won't slab it. And, it's one of those things where we all try to be better. We try to educate ourselves. We try to figure out why. We try to figure out, you know, when you buy something or you purchase something, did we make the right choice? Do we make the right decision? we all learn and we all grow. So we're not all expert on everything, and sometimes you got to do a little bit more. So I still think it's an awesome ticket. I actually think that although the '86 Fleer basketball card of Michael Jordan is probably the most iconic basketball card on the planet, I really do believe that Michael Jordan's star rookie card is his real rookie card. So having the ticket to his real rookie card when that picture was taken, I think that's pretty cool.
Well,
Um,
the star card is like, I mean, that's the talk of the town right now. I've written a few things on it just in the last like week or two. It's nuts what's going on in that market. Kind of just separate as a side note. Just wow. There's one ending at Golden tonight, a signed one that's in a Beckett slab. That I'm very curious to see where it ends.
yeah, I mean they've gone through the roof, and I remember the days because I had some star basketball when PSA when it's just pretty recent that they're slabbing it. They wouldn't
Yeah.
even touch them, so it's pretty cool. So this is another thing, Will, that I wanted to bring on. It's different than the associated. Michael Jordan ticket to those cards. It's the Michael Jordan debut ticket, and how many of them are out there versus the Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer basketball card. And one of the people who I follow very vigorously on Instagram is Hall of Stubs.
Me too.
And Hall of Stubs is he's got such data. I don't know where he gets this stuff from. I mean, he told me, but I don't know. I don't have the ability to put any of this kind of stuff together. And I reached out to him this morning. I said, I've got Will Stern on the show tonight. Is there any way you can give me an update on the Michael Jordan population? And he did. And he told me there's 72 in the pop report of the Michael Jordan debut ticket. And there are 27,447 graded 1986 Fleer basketball cards by just PSA.
So it's basically even, is what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if I would say that, but there's 13,000 of those cards in Beckett slabs too, as well as SGC. So when we're talking about tickets, 72 in the ticket world is not necessarily the most rare ticket on the planet. But what it is it's Michael Jordan, and it's 72 total, at least in the PSA pop report, versus 30, 40, 50,000 of his 1986 Fleer basketball cards. So I think that just speaks a lot to the rarity and scarcity of tickets, and why I really particularly believe that we're still in the infancy in many of the really great tickets that we're seeing collected by folks.
Yeah, I think, and I love Hall of Subs. He does awesome stuff. I think that sort of those comparisons are always fun, and that is definitely like the hey, I'm interested in tickets. Give me a 101. Like those graphics are probably the first thing to show someone. I think there's other components too, right? Like the Fleer rookie's a lot more recognizable than a Jordan debut ticket, right? The market for cards is larger than whatever. So it's not exactly like it's just apples to apples. But yeah, I mean that's the most, if you're talking about it from a pure scarcity market perspective, that is obviously the most compelling thing that you can put in front of anyone, and it's across I think the best one that he does is the 89 UD Griffey.
Yeah,
It was just hilarious because it's a billion cards graded, and
yeah, no debut tickets. But the crazy thing too, Will, is think about it. I mean, if game used jerseys, which are more popular, there's more of them than the debut tickets, are selling for millions of dollars. How could a real-time Michael Jordan fan who wants the rarest collectible, the Asian market, etc., but why in the world wouldn't those people say, sure, there's only 72 of them, it's Michael Jordan's debut, of course I'll pay $100,000 for that. Of course I'll pay $200,000 for that. Of course I'd pay $500,000 for that. I just look at it as that just hasn't happened yet, but it will.
Yeah, look, I don't know that I'm gonna ever predict uh, a a coming together of the markets for a debut ticket or a debut jersey or what have you, just because I think that there's a certain that look a game worn jersey. I just
It's
it's
different.
hard for me
I
to
get it.
argue like I think tickets are about to catch up, but yeah, I look there are people that there are people looking for ways to collect their favorite athlete or the athlete that they believe in from an investment perspective. And they're looking at different ways to get into that market and markets that they think are undervalued. So yeah, maybe they look at it and they're like, holy moly, like that's I keep saying holy moly to censor myself from saying this shit. They look at it and yeah, maybe they'll see the types of graphics we just talked about and say, why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I'm not giving investment advice to anybody, but at the same time, Will, I can see it happening. Hey, there's only 75 of these. Why? I want in. How do I get one? Well, give us 100 grand. Only 100 grand? Oh, okay. There's one of 75. I'll take it. So I don't know. On this show, Will, we've been going about 33 minutes, and I know we had a little hiccup there. I like to kind of keep them at a half hour. You're doing great. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to run the gauntlet with you. I know that you know the gauntlet. These are ticket questions or questions about you and collect. So these are kind of rapid fire, and let's bang these out. Stub or full?
If I have to pick one with no caveats, I guess full.
Okay. Probably because they're a little more rare. I could see why you go that way.
Yeah.
PSA, Beckett, or no slab at all when it comes to your tickets?
PSA.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Are you a debut guy or are you a moment guy?
So I'd say moment. I'd say moment, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I am too. PSA 10 ticket or a PSA Pop 1 ticket?
Pop one all day.
Okay. Yeah, you got to telling me a little bit about rarity and scarcity and the things you're looking for. You said highly illiquid, pop one of one, historic in nature. That's what you're looking for. So
Well, I think you asked me if I had like $100,000 or something to spend. That's what I'd be looking for. I'm not able to really corner pieces like that at my $80 eBay budget. But yeah, no, I mean I think those are the types of pieces in just the sports memorabilia collectibles industry that are proven to just have a track record.
yeah, huge upsides. Yeah. So who is the real brains behind Collect Media? Will Stern or Will Stern?
It's it's Kevin Jackson.
Okay. Um, are you required to have a Martin Luther King collection to work at Collect?
We talk about the merits of owning different things, and look,
Just teasing Darren a little bit. Are you ever worried that Darren's Twitter trolls are going to show up at your office?
I mean, yeah, it's not something I'd like to think about, but it's not. Yeah, certainly not fun when they divert to me.
Is there anyone more passionate in the collectibles world than Darren Rovell?
It's yeah, yeah. I mean, he's as authentic as it gets when he's into something. It's a 10 out of 10 emergency, pull the fire alarm. This really specific niche item that I'm into, that he's into, is should be on the front page of the New York Times, right? That's how he feels, and that's so genuine. And I think I mean, look, that's why he's reporting on this industry, because it's like this is what he's fascinated by, and I share that. It's like it's just we're lucky to do what we're doing. But yeah, no, he's just so beyond passionate, and he's incredibly knowledgeable. Yeah.
So, and that's what we love about him, honestly, Will. That's what we love about Collect, and that's what I really like about you. I see it come through in your stories. I see it come through in what you put together. Will, I thank you for coming on. You're as good as they make them. Very genuine. Everyone out there, follow Will. It's Will's collection account. You can also find him on Collect Media. Give him a holler if you have any questions. If you got any tips in the collectibles market, you got a scoop, reach out to Will. Reach out to Will.
Yeah.
Will, I appreciate you being on episode 36 of Stub Luv Live. We are out. Thanks, Will. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
Be well. Bye-bye. Bye.